As I get ready to produce a show this morning, I was thinking about this opportunity. And this is an example of how a strategist thinks. I was thinking about football season starting in high school football and how chambers of commerces can go to the high school football teams or the athletic departments or the booster associations and offer them a product for distribution via EDDM, a flyer that would be distributed, that on one side you would have the information about the school's football team or program or whatever it is that's the focus. But right now we're just talking about booster associations and chambers of commerces and how they can all work together, or the school's athletic departments, or even the school's newspaper, where they could produce something for the Chamber of Commerce that would include advertising to help support the athletic department or some other aspect of the educational needs of the school, where they can send out a flyer that's 2 or 3 every week that has different coupons, good for a month, for a different member of the Chamber of Commerce's business that might be interested in distributing to every mailbox on a route in a zip code near a school, generating the kind of goodwill image that says you're supporting the community in a way that might get you more favor, and putting your brand out there with an incentive for people to come and see you, and then revisiting again the next month. And this is an idea for chambers and schools to work with together, or school organizations to work with together. And you can create your flyer the way I'm going to show you later as I prepare something I promised I was going to do with my windfall from my early retirement incentive, the last part, which I'll get this week. And now I can go ahead and print some flyers and send them, as I promised I would, to those zip codes where I'd worked before and where I might have some influence with customers who might remember me even fondly. But I digress. The vision has to answer the question, how can a monopoly lose money? I come from a very different place. Um, in the 1990s, I was the head of marketing for the largest COD shipper with UPS in South Carolina. We had 3 warehouses, one in Indiana, one in Southern California. Our whole year, our entire budget is set on knowing how much it's going to cost to ship, knowing how much it's going to cost to mail. I mean, every week we were putting thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of mail into the system that would arrive, knowing that physical mail is going to have a whole lot more impact. Our vision is to understand that the government's job is supposed to support commerce, support growth, support competition in the marketplace so that people innovate, so that free market forces a Darwinian evolution that improves and always advances and expands the footprint and grows in ways that make sure that when we're no longer able to grow and keep up, we perish.
Imagine a postal service owned by those who know it best, where every letter carrier, every clerk, every worker has a stake in success. A system that rewards innovation, efficiency, and dedication, where your hard work directly contributes to your future. This isn't just a dream. It's a vision for a stronger, more resilient postal service, one that serves America while empowering its workforce. Join me, Thomas Padlan-Malm, in reimagining our postal future. Together, we can build a system that works for all of us.
As we start working forward, I just want to emphasize that this isn't something that's new for me. And as we begin and as I ask people to be part of a different vision for the United States Postal Service, everything begins with vision. I'm really concerned about the vision because everything that we're focusing on upgrading package handling logistics, eliminating inefficient operations and replacing them with super centers that are going to move more, faster, better, cutting cost, cutting cost, cutting cost, mostly meaning eliminating jobs, eliminating jobs, eliminating jobs. We have to ask, where are we going when our solution created higher average losses every single day than we've ever seen in 200?
Hey everyone! Today let's dive into a critical question. Is cutting costs the best business strategy? We've all heard about big companies like Kodak, Blockbuster, and Sears, right? They were giants, too big to fail, but they did. What happened? They fell into the trap of focusing too much on cost cutting and ignored innovation and customer experience. So, what's the takeaway here? Cutting costs alone won't save a business. True growth comes from innovation. According to the Harvard Business Review, even in times of austerity, companies should focus on efficient innovation. This means increasing the return on innovation investments, focusing on radical over-incremental innovation, and fostering a culture that prioritizes learning and commitment. To wrap it up, while managing costs is essential, it shouldn't come at the expense of innovation and customer experience. The best strategy is a balanced one that includes forward-thinking investments, engaging employees, and always keeping an eye on the future.
I was my high school's most likely to succeed. And when you're most likely to succeed, you hope that you're going to be able to graduate. You'll graduate, go on to college, get your whatever, start your life, be smarter than most, and get whatever you want. Man, I'm going to live my life. I'm going to go off. I'm going to have a house. When I'm retired, I'm going to have a house on the water. I'm going to have a sports car and a sailboat. And because I was a postal worker, I have all those things. Excuse the lawnmower sound. That's the lawnmower that's running, that takes care of the community's yards and gardens, so that we here in the retired part of South Carolina don't have to. So now I don't have to mow my lawn. I got my sports car that's, and I actually do get to live on the water. I get to live here. Got a nice little pond here in the back of my house, and my back patio, it's really a beautiful screen thing. And as I think about what's going on in the United States Postal Service that I'm so grateful to have retired from, and I look at the people who are coming to it now, and I look at the attitude of that you could actually improve something by eliminating the workforce. But I think about the people who are coming in, and I'm thinking about, how do you get a chance? How do you get a chance to do better? How do you get a chance to go on, contribute to the economy by being a consumer of things like homes and automobiles?
Strategic planning is the compass. Management by objectives is the map. Once we know where we're going, we need clear, measurable goals to get there. Every level of the USPS, from the Postmaster General to mail carriers, should have specific, achievable objectives. These objectives should be tied to our overall strategic plan. They should be challenging, yet attainable. And most importantly, progress towards these objectives should be regularly tracked and measured. Management by objectives promotes accountability and drives performance. It empowers employees at all levels to contribute to the success of the USPS. This results-oriented approach is crucial for navigating the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
I want to talk to you a little bit like I would if I were talking to Hiromi Gunji, the chairman of Brother International at the time that I was there managing product. And if just 1% of us, right now, less than 1%, get $500 in repeatable new revenue from EDDM each week, 1% of us send a $1.5 billion message that speaks loudly about potential if we put power where power should be and recognize where the vision must come from to protect our jobs and our communities. And this is where labor needs to stop fighting with management and show management the way.
The USPS belongs to the American people. They are our customers, and their needs must be at the heart of everything we do. We need to listen to their concerns and understand their evolving needs. What services do they value most? How can we improve their experience? How can we leverage technology to better serve them? These are the questions we must constantly ask ourselves. By aligning our services with the needs of our citizen owners, we can increase customer satisfaction and loyalty. This customer-centric approach will be vital for the long-term success of the USPS.
So the year-end success, based on growth curve, we should figure, I got some videos that say 10 million, that's 10 billion. So let's say 10 billion, okay? So we're gonna have $10 billion end of year if 1% of us act now. Today's success, if we can get everybody, less than 1% of us actually active, doing something active, and this is why this is important that we don't just sit on our hands and hope somebody else does it. And I say this knowing that 99% of the people are gonna sit on their hands until they wait to see that 1% do it, and then they're gonna say, okay, I can do it.
What if every post office in America could pay its own bills? No new hires, no extra costs, just pure local hustle. It's about action. Every zip can drive new revenue and keep jobs and post offices alive, no matter what's happening in the boardroom. Labor's got solutions that management never imagined. We know our communities, and with EDDM we connect local businesses to real customers, proving we're essential. Let's defend our post offices, grow small business, and show America what labor leadership really means.
The basis of everything that we're going to talk about strategically lies in the statement that Bernard Barak said, if you have all the information, your decisions can be right. If you don't have all the information, your decisions can't be right. And you tie that with Mark Twain saying, it ain't what we don't know that gets us in trouble. It's what we know for sure that just ain't so.
The USPS is more than just a mail delivery service. It's an integral part of the communities we serve. We need to strengthen these bonds through proactive community outreach programs. We can partner with local business, schools, and community organizations. We can host events that showcase our services and educate the public about our value. By engaging with our communities, we can foster a sense of shared ownership and pride in the USPS. This will be essential for garnering the support we need to thrive in the future.
What I wish I knew last August instead of just taking another loss. That we carriers can drive real change and real income. The answer? Every door direct mail isn't just for businesses. It's the tool rural carriers can use to take back control and put money, real money, back in our pockets. Here's how. EDDM lets anyone flood local mailboxes with marketing. No mailing lists, no permits, just pure neighborhood reach. When we push EDDM in our routes, we boost our own volume and our own income. Management can't stop this. In fact, if rural carriers led the charge, we'd generate over $1.5 billion in new revenue for USPS. Revenue they never saw coming. Don't settle for another pay cut. Let's show the suits what labor can do. By making EDDM the rural carrier revolt they'll never forget.
It's important that we take this to the beginning and we not look at this year's improvement over last year's improvement, and that we look at in 2019, when 92% of all of America's first-class mail arrived on time and fell short only by 3% of the goal of 95%, meaning only 7% shortfall. And then came the improvements. And those improvements were there because of years of, decades of, as he says, as Mr. DeJoy said in his Senate hearing after a couple of years of failing and nearing the close of a year in which the second greatest losses in a single year ever took place, and would bring the total of loss from the time every single reason for losses in 2019 were eradicated by the legislative changes that were begged for a decade.
The USPS is at a crossroads. The choices we make today will determine our destiny. We can choose to be defined by the challenges we face, or we can rise to the occasion and create a future where the USPS thrives. For over 2 centuries, the USPS has faithfully served the American people. The USPS is woven into the fabric of America. It is a testament to our shared values of service, community, and progress. Let us rise to the challenge, embrace the future, and ensure that this legacy endures. To thrive in the future, the USPS must embrace strategic planning. This means setting clear goals and objectives. It means understanding our strengths and weaknesses, and it means adapting to the changing needs of the American people. Strategic planning is not just about today, it's about tomorrow. It's about anticipating challenges and seizing opportunities. It's about making tough decisions today to ensure a brighter future for the USPS. A clear strategic plan will guide the USPS towards a sustainable future. It will help us make smart investments, improve efficiency, and better serve our customers. This is how the USPS will remain a vital service for generations to come. United States Postal Service, or USPS, is a vital part of our nation. For centuries, it has connected millions of people and businesses. It delivers our letters, packages, and dreams. Today, the USPS faces big challenges. Technology changes how we communicate. Competition is growing. The way we shop is different. Despite these hurdles, the USPS remains essential. It provides affordable and reliable service to every address in America. It connects rural communities, supports small businesses, and delivers essential goods. The USPS is a public service we cannot afford to lose. We need to act now to save this vital service. We need to adapt to the changing world. We need to find new ways to be efficient and effective. The future of the USPS depends on it. The dedicated employees of the USPS are our greatest asset. They are the heart and soul of this organization. To succeed, we must invest in their well-being, training, and professional development. We need to create a work environment that values their contributions, respects their talents, and fosters their growth. A motivated and skilled workforce is essential for providing excellent service. By empowering our employees, we empower the USPS to overcome any challenge. The path forward. A call to action. The challenges facing the USPS are real, but they are not insurmountable. By embracing strategic planning, management by objectives, a customer-centric approach, community outreach, and employee empowerment, we can chart a new course for the future. This is not a task for management alone. Every employee of the USPS has a role to play. We must all embrace change, strive for excellence, and work together to ensure the enduring relevance of this vital American institution. The time for action is now. Let us work together to deliver a brighter future for the USPS and the nation we serve.
I think about the woman who was so upset when she came to the window, and she had lost a husband earlier in the year. And she went online to file her taxes and was notified that she was dead. And she couldn't, dead people aren't allowed to file their taxes online, so she had to file by mail. And as she explained this to me, and there's no obligation to talk to people at the Postal Service, but we get to hear what's going on in people's lives all the time. As she talked, she said, I really wanted change. And I worked in a community that really hasn't changed much since 1975. And that's why people who live there live there. But the point is, the people who need to be running the Postal Service are the people who understand what the services need to be in that community. And that's why I lead with this notion that we can pay for it if we all just fight for our jobs and fight for our services that are only able to be delivered by having local post offices. The more information we have about what the Postal Service does for us, the more we understand that we can't allow the technocrats to take it from us. It's not replaceable.
The Postal Service is dying, and management has no clue how to save it. But what if I told you that one employee among 600,000 just discovered $20 billion in revenue they've been ignoring? This isn't another story about government inefficiency. This is about strategic blindness at the highest levels and the untapped potential sitting right under management's nose. For 4 decades, baby boomers have led American business largely without formal planning methodologies. The United States Postal Service has become the poster child for this failure. But here's where it gets interesting. Thomas Padlan-Malm, who retired from the USPS in 2025, didn't just identify the problem. He quantified the solution. Using the Postal Service's own every door direct mail system, EDDM, he discovered $15 billion in specific, measurable, attainable revenue. By week's end, that number grew to $20 billion. All without adding expenses or workforce. Think about that for a moment. One employee, among 600,000, found $20 billion in revenue that management couldn't see. This isn't theoretical and sitting there waiting to be activated. Padlan-Malm sees employee ownership as the only stable and effective mail delivery system for America's future. There are 235,461 letter delivery routes in America, serving 23 million business addresses. Rural carriers are losing tens of thousands in personal income from new evaluation processes. But EDDM represents their path to empowerment and increased earnings. Every route in every zip code runs 1 EDDM per work week. The math is staggering. If just 3,100 individuals, that's half of 1% of postal employees working in 5% of America's 31,000 post offices, generated $500 in repeatable revenue each week, scaling to $2,000 by week 4. That's $1.5 billion in topside revenue in 1 month alone. No additional capital. No new workforce. No structural changes. Just empowered employees using tools already at their disposal. When rural carriers and postmasters across America simultaneously prove they can generate massive revenue using existing tools, it sends an unmistakable message about who really understands the business. This is about restoration, restoring the peerless value of local post offices to customers, restoring proper strategic planning to American business, and restoring the fourth estate values that have been traded away since the 1996 Communications Act. The framework is scalable, the revenue is quantifiable, and the workforce is ready. The question isn't whether this can work. Padlan-Malm has already proven it can. The question is whether management will recognize the solution when it's staring them in the face, or whether employees will need to show them by taking ownership themselves. The Postal Service isn't dying, it's waiting to be reborn under employee ownership.